Virgin Galactic going into space. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening, folks. Welcome to a very hot, sticky Northampton. It is so sticky today. It's horrid.
And we have external noises.
Yeah, the kids are out playing, so I do apologise. My chair, I've got to sort this chair out. It's squeaking like a good.
Oh, we know what you've been doing.
No, I don't know. Rocky is starting to diverge on his.
Oh, he's got it.
Yeah, I put it on the edge, and he was starting to jump up, and that's the last thing I want him to do is start jumping up on everybody. He shouldn't be doing that at his age. Anyway, good evening, folks. Here we are again. Quiet week this week.
Good evening, Richard. He's in StreamYard.
Yes, he is. I know he was maybe on tonight. We had discussed this. Hope you're all right. Hope you're all right, Richard. He knows what I'm talking about.
Has he been not well?
I'm sure I'm not going to say anything, but I hope he's all right. He must be because he's in chat tonight. Okay. So as I said, I think everybody's on holiday. Good evening, Matt.
Matt.
We've only had 2,087 views, but we did pick up 10 new subscribers, so that's pretty good.
And what you've been 2,000 views. What happened with the 2,000 views?
Oh, we'll talk about that in a minute.
No, okay.
Okay. So what have you been watching? Classic album called Rasta, the Heptones. Everyone seemed to like a bit of reggae on a Monday, and you got another one coming up on Monday, and Heptones 39. Pick and Mix, Tom Allen, 41 people. But the highest watched video last week, well, this is Keith Richards' solo albums, 52 people. And still Kiss, Creatures of the Night is the best short. That's unbelievable. 28 days, 9,312 people have been watching. What have we got in the thing? Top three. Coming in at number 3, we've got the top 20 number 3s of all time with Richard at 184. Ozzy Osbourne's studio albums at 190. And at number 1, as it always does when we put a new one up, opening tracks from our top 10 albums with Richard, 192.
Yeah, that was an interesting selection, the pair you came up with.
I know, that's why it was good. I'm looking forward to the one we're doing next.
Even more interesting because Richard imposed a set of rules on himself because he'd done something similar before. And that knocked my prediction off.
So
it's unfair. Anyway.
So, the channel views. We reckon it happened either Tuesday or Wednesday. We're now over the 200,000.
Yeah, thank you very much, everybody, for watching.
Yes. Good evening, Simon. Yes, so we've got actually 2,000.
200,000.
353, which is fantastic. So that is unbelievable. So well done, everybody. You're all part of that. We've now got 1,060 subs. No change, as usual. Jethro Tool 383. Derek Riggs 3933. Status Quo 6938. Greetings, Ralph. Battle of the debut. Oh, there's Jean-Michel Jarre still. Oxygen still the best short.
I don't think that's going to change.
No. Last week's Battle of the Debuts, the first of the power metal symphonic, was a close thing. 13 to Threshold and 12 to Rhapsody of Fire. This week's is 2 Dutch bands. One featuring Floor Jansen and Mark Jansen, and the other, which is Mark Jansen and Simone Simmons, better known as After Forever and Epica. I have put links into the albums, and there's some stuff.
Oh,
2,000 videos. Yeah.
That's an interesting one, Ted.
Yes, it is.
Because that will, there will be a mention.
Yes. So so what have I been listening to? Well, I've nearly listened to all the Sonic Youth now. I've only got one left. A couple of the Flaming Lips, so that's 13 the 16 Clutch. I've got 3 of those. New Order, 6 of the 10. The Skids, 5 of 7. Toto, 3 of 14. Linda's Farm, 3 of 14. Fela Kuti, 4 of 26. Loads of them. Metallica, 7 of 12. And Poison, 5 of 7. I've completed 2. Eagles and Shadow Gallery. Yes, and we got a Wally of the week this week. Now, someone decided to put on my tribute to Judith Durham. You remember when we did a tribute to Judith Durham?
Yeah.
He told me that it wasn't obscure enough and blah, de, blah, de, blah. And he was quite rude. So I said, if you'd ever listened and read what you were looking at, it's a tribute. There. And Dave saw...
Yeah, there was a follow-up comment, which YouTube very kindly marked as likely spam. And spammed he was.
Yes, he was quite rude. Because I said to him, for someone that has had a channel since 2017, hasn't put any content up.
Yeah,
I wasn't rude to him, but I just said, go away. And he said it was because he could, so he can watch video. I had to create an account so I could watch videos on YouTube.
No, you don't need an account to watch videos on YouTube. Anybody can watch videos on YouTube.
An
account to make comments.
Seb's just asked me a question. Am I including the Mickey CD? Of course I am.
Yeah.
Of course I am. You don't miss out anything on my rankings. If it's there, it gets done. Anyway, I'm going to hand you over now today for matches and dispatches, and then I'm going to go and sort Rocky out.
Well, it's the kids outside that's upsetting him, I think.
Yeah, I'll see what he's up to. So I'll give it.
Okay. Okay, we have 7 deaths this week. The 4th of August, we lost John Gosling, keyboardist with the Kinks. Sad loss. The 7th of August, we lost Toussaint McCall, an American R&B singer, and David LaFlamme, an American singer and violinist with a group It's a Beautiful Day. The 8th of August, we lost Jamie Reid. Now, he was the guy who came up with the covers for the Sex Pistols. He was a visual artist and anarchist all his life. But he came up with the idea of making the titles look like ransom notes, cutting letters out of newspapers and whatnot, which was very effective. Same day, we lost Sixto Rodriguez, an American singer-songwriter. He was known as Sugarman, and he was the subject of a film, Searching for Sugarman. The 9th of August, yesterday, we lost 2 people. We lost an Italian singer, Peppino Gagliari. One of his songs, titled, I hope I get this right, Che vuole questa musica stasera. It's part of the original soundtrack of Guy Ritchie's film, The Man from U.N.C.L.E. And the other person we lost yesterday, big loss, Robbie Robertson, Canadian Hall of Fame musician with The Band, also known as Bob Dylan's backing band. And he was a songwriter and film composer, and he wrote The Night They Drove Old Dixie Down. However, sadness over, we've got 28 birthdays today. And we'll go from, as usual, youngest to oldest.
That must be the most we've done on the dispatches. The hatches.
No, 28 birthdays. Yes, it's close. Dispatches, no, we've had more than 7, unfortunately. But birthdays. So youngest to oldest as usual. And I apologize in advance if I mangle the pronunciation. So at 39 years young today, we have Cyril Amy. She's a French jazz singer. And we have, and this is where I do really apologize if I get it wrong, Fridolin van Paul, and she is another Dutch jazz singer. 42 today is Natsumi Abe, and she is a Japanese pop singer with a manufactured group called Dream Morning Musume. Hard to believe, first three this week are all ladies. At 46 today, we have Aaron Kamin, an American guitarist and singer-songwriter with the band The Calling. 51 today is Christopher Jonsson, a Swedish symphonic metal guitarist and composer with the band Therion. Stefan Groff is 52 today. He's a Danish-Norwegian synth-pop singer with a band Apoptygma Berserk. 55 today is Michael Bivins, an American pop vocalist with the bands New Edition and Belle Biv DeVoe, which was actually a trio. 56 today is Lorraine Pearson. She was a rock vocalist with the band Five Star. How many of you remember Five Star? Another manufactured group. And also 56 is Todd Nichols, an American guitarist and songwriter with a band with the wonderful name of Toad the Wet Sprocket. Yes. I'll repeat that. Toad the Wet Sprocket. That's brilliant.
Say that after Cut the Sherbet.
Exactly. 57 today is Hansi Kirsch, a German heavy metal singer-songwriter and bassist with the band Blind Guardian. And Roberta Donay, she's an American jazz singer, guitarist, and songwriter. She did One World. 61 today is Julia Forden, a British pop and jazz singer-songwriter. She did Happily Ever After. And Big Audio Dynamite are celebrating Dan Donovan's birthday. He's 61 today. 62 is John Farris, the rock drummer with In Excess. Now, this was already mentioned today in a wander down a trip down memory lane. Vinnie Kilduff. He's an Irish session and touring tin whistler, Uilleann Piper, mandolin player and songwriter. He played with the Waterboys, U2 and Sinead O'Connor. 64 today is Florent Volant, an Innu Canadian musician, and she's part of an Innu duo called Cash Tin, spelt with a K. And 64 is Mark Price, a drummer with the bands All About Eve and Tin Huey. 67 today is Charlie Peacock, an American jazz and contemporary Christian music pianist, singer, songwriter, and record producer, along with On Ka Davis. I hope I said that right. He's an American experimental jazz guitarist and composer with the band Sun Ra Orchestra. 69 today is Sam Baker, an American folk singer-songwriter with the group Say Grace. 73 today. Can I hear an echo? I'm sure. Anyway, 73 today is Patty Austin, an American soul pop and jazz singer, and she recorded Come to Me with James Ingram. 74 today is Gene Johnson, an American country singer. He was with the group Diamond Rio. 76 today, and here it comes, is the one-legged Iain Anderson, Scottish rock singer, flute player, guitarist, and songwriter with Jethro Tull. I promised they would get a mention. Happy birthday, Mr. Anderson. 78 today is Larry Larden. Yes, you heard that right. He's an American rocker with the band Every Mother's Son. 81 today is Norbert Putnam. He's an American session bassist with the band Music Shoals Rhythm Section. And he was a record producer for Jimmy Buffett, Dan Fogelberg, and Joan Baez. Muse are celebrating tonight, or at least Matt Bellamy is celebrating tonight, because it's his dad, George Bellamy's birthday. George is 82 today, and he was a rocker with the Tornadoes, fabulous group. 83 today is Michael Tunes and Tunes. That's Tunes is his nickname. He's an American rock and blues saxophonist with the group Dan Cafferty and the Beaver Brown Band. I'm sorry, I keep sniggering every time I look and read that name out. And the oldest of the lot today at 87 is a gentleman, Chuck Israels. He's an American jazz double bassist and a composer with the Bill Evans Trio. He's also an arranger and band leader. So that's the hatches, matches, and dispatches. Let's close that and get that out of the way. Oh, it's being a pain. Right. Do you want to do it now or after yours?
We'll do mine first because I'm
ready. Okay. Before we do that, good evening, Naomi.
Oh, hello. I can't see who's on it because I'm staring at what I'm doing. Hello,
yeah,
Naomi.
Well. She's going, hey, everyone. How's everyone? Everyone.
I'm fine. I'll come and say hello properly soon. You can see me, but I can't see what's going on.
Right. I am adding you to the stream, and away you go.
Okay, well, there we go. As you can see, I've changed the letters this week. It's a bit different. So what's on next week? So we'll go into Monday. We're going to start off with a bit of vanilla fudge, a bit of Carmine Apiece, Appice, whatever you want to pronounce his name. An interesting band. And we're going to continue with some reggae. And we're going to look at a band called the Congos, another original sort of from Jamaica, and their album, The Heart of the Congos. I've really enjoyed listening to that.
Good evening, Mike.
Good stuff. Tuesday. It's the last part of the Tony Martin story.
Oh, that's been long.
Yes, and it's just called Featuring Tony Martin. So it's the bits and bobs that he's done, and
collaboration.
He's even done a Christmas record.
Oh no!
Oh yes.
Oh no! Oh, yes. Right. Okay. Say no more.
I'm retro looking next week is a little bit different. I've got top 20 of the one-hit wonders as defined by the Guinness Book of Hit Singles.
That's going to be fun.
Yes, it is going to be a fun one, that is. Wednesday's marathon, I think there's a lot of people probably jumping for joy. It's been asked for, and people say, when is it coming? It's coming on Wednesday. We're going to look at prog band Nectar.
I think that was Stephen, was it?
Probably Stephen or someone said, they get very excited about a bit of prog. Thursday, we've got another power metal, and these two bands are two of my favourite power metal, symphonic metal bands. One being Dream Theater, and their debut When Dream and Day Unite, and Symphony X's debut, self-titled. We're going to look at a DVD next week or a VHS, and we're looking at the brilliant Talk live at Montreux from 1986, which was a terrific video. Really, really good. And Friday, a triple header for Friday.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Gary Moore live albums. One of my favourite artists, seen him lots of times. New album from Neil Morse. It's a two-parter. The part 2 doesn't come out till next year, and it's The Dream of Joseph. So it's got something to do with Joseph, I take it.
Well, looking at that cover, it looks like Joseph. Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Yes. Right. We've got a birthday next Friday.
Oh, it's Wyoming Dave, isn't it?
Yes. So we'll be looking at his birthday, a top 10, and then next Saturday, we're back. We've did opening tracks, and we're going to do the closing tracks on top 10 albums, which will be fabulous. So that's what's coming next week. And don't forget.
Oh, I've very nearly minimised that.
Yes. Closing date, 17th of September. So we've got just under a month. I'll keep reminding you. You must be getting pretty sick of me telling you about it now.
Well, we're going to show the current list of entries tonight.
Oh, there you go. Dave's going to show all the entries. So we'll come out of that. And I'll start sharing this.
Oh, well done. No, you didn't need me to do that.
No. So, hello, everyone. I'm now... yes, I do agree. Mike, you're absolutely right.
Yeah. So you've a lot to go back to.
So now we're going to do we're spinning the wheel this week because we've done the schedule for September. So we need the year for the top 10 for both America and...
Before we do that, question from Richard. How many Skids albums are there? I think it's 4. I think
I've got down 6, but I will check because I know Richard's the Mr. Guru, so I will check that. If you say there's 4, I will go and check.
Yes, worthwhile unless there might have been some fan club only releases or something like that. You never know. Simon. It should be helmet of the week, not Wally.
Yes, I did mention that. It will be now affectionately known as helmet of the week in honor of Helmet. I wonder if we'll ever see Helmet. I wonder if we'll have a guest appearance of Helmet. Who knows? Anyway, are we ready to spin a wheel?
There we go. That and that. I'm just going through some of these quickly before we do that so you can catch up. Stefan Groff. Oh, he's son of Jan Groff. I didn't know that. Good evening, Richard. Nice to see you.
Good evening, everybody.
How are you? Did it go all right today?
Oh, God, it was dreadful, but I'm okay.
Okay. As long as
it's the worst that you could have, put it that way, for a procedure.
Oh, it was procedure day today. Oh, glad to hear you survived. Right.
Right.
Take that off there and that off there, and I go to that. And I want to
technical stuff. We're spinning the wheel, Richard. You've come at a very exciting time.
Share screen, and I want to share that. And right, there I go. So I can't see anything.
Okay, we got the wheel up. So
we want 2 dates.
We don't want no 90s.
Well, there's only 5. You can see them here: 1990, 1, 2, 3, and 4. We end at 1994. Okay. So if the 90s come up, we'll spin it again.
Yeah.
Okay. So first one.
This is for the UK. You don't get quality like this anywhere else, do you?
Oh,
1970. That'll be a great one. That will be early September 70. Brilliant. That should be a good one.
Yes. Okay.
There you go. Sounds like my bones in the morning.
Oh,
1950. The American charts from 1958.
Now, if I remember correctly, the American charts had just started. I think it was 58. I'm not certain.
Okay.
I know they were years after us.
Yeah, if it's such a thing it isn't, we'll do a little video to do a respin. But I'm not sure.
Well, if not, then it's always the published. What was it? The published music, and you had the DJs, and you had the Oh God, brains, the Wurlitzers.
Yeah, well,
The jukebox plays. That's it, jukebox plays. Right. I did say that I would show you something. So we go to this. You don't see that. Don't need to see that. We go to that one. And bum. Here we
these
are.
are all the entries so far for the Battle Royale.
Yep, we have 19 entries. 16 was a perfect number. The next perfect number is 32. So we need another 13 entries, ideally.
So get your thinking caps on if you haven't put one in yet.
Yeah. Now, having said that, Father Stack did try to put in a second entry, but we caught him up. If we don't get enough, what we'll do is we will go back to the top of the list, and those of you who have put in a second album, we will add that into the list until.
Which I think is fair enough. I mean, we've got the approval of the adjudicator there, Mr. McCook. You think that's a very good idea to make up the numbers, use people's?
That's what I was going to suggest. Use people's second entries if you didn't have enough. I'm still not sure how this works. So you put one album up against the other. And it's
going to be like the debut. Hang on, let me come out of this. Stop sharing and go to that. There we go. It's going to be like the debut battles that we have each week.
Right.
People will vote on it, and in the live stream or in the community, and whoever wins, they go through to round 2. Now, if there's enough, let's say we end up with 32, that's 16 rounds, which in theory would take 16 weeks. It's far too long. So what we'll probably do is do 2 per week. We'll put 2 debuts up, and you can vote on both. 1 vote per person on each, and we'll try and do 2 per week and bring the numbers down that way.
Yeah, the only difference is, you know how I normally mark the albums and choose them. I will be doing that, but I won't choose one. I should just do it. You know, the song quality, put up the scores, what the public's, the graphics say. But then I won't say anything. I won't choose one. It'll be all down to you guys to vote them. And when we get to the final 2,
which is Diamond Dogs.
What?
Diamond Dogs, Bridge Over Troubled Water, my second choice.
Funny enough, I was watching the opening tracks, and I had said to Iain in the lead up to you doing the recording, I reckon Richard's number 1 opening track is going to be Diamond Dogs. Given Future Legends as the opening track, which leads in to Diamond Dogs, and I thought, you're going to pick that no matter what. No, you self-imposed a rule.
Exactly.
Which I thought was brilliant.
The David Bowie one that I did do in the original video wasn't Future Legends of Diamond Dogs.
Oh.
The one that station to station.
Oh, that's an interesting choice. All right.
Hello, Christopher.
Sorry, Iain, I completely interrupted you again. These Northern Ireland people, they're so rude. They've no manners whatsoever.
What do you say?
Yeah, I find that when I come across. You're so rude.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We'll just jump all over you. Yeah. What do you want to say?
I will give you
nothing. He doesn't want to say anything.
I'm trying to join the things here, and I'm putting up the wrong rubbish.
Well, I mean, I'm getting in some practice for tomorrow because I'm at a cousin's wedding tomorrow, or a second cousin's wedding. This is going to be great fun.
Where you
by
going?
The way, sorry, I would love Elbert to do a late entry into that quarter contest. I would love to see it.
I'm surprised nobody has put anything by Elvis.
Oh, sorry, Elmet.
Elmet.
Yeah, Elmet, yeah.
Yeah, talking about your contests. I should have known that because you've spoken to me about it. You've mentioned it a little while ago about losing a quarter.
Yes. Well, I thought you might. I thought somebody would have got it. I couldn't think of anything else.
When I watched the video, I thought, we were discussing this. Why?
There was one guy. Chris from CBCDs, and he had to get a bonus entry because his answer, it took about 8 minutes. Because normally when you look at these replies, you first of all you look to see how long this is, and most of them are about 6 to 8 minutes. His answer for the whole video was 15 minutes. I thought, oh God, here we go. And it was about 8 minutes on that bonus question, and I was captivated. Now, you think the Paul is dead was one hell of a conspiracy theory. My quarter was even better than that. It was brilliant. So he got a bonus.
Yeah, I watched that. It was incredible. You normally flip through, but you just needed to see how he ended it.
I know. And he made a complete error at the start. He said this was my 4th contest. It wasn't. It was my 3rd. And Rob Walker let him know in the comments. And I think he thought, oh, bugger.
No, I'm looking forward to doing when we do our closing tracks because, as I said to you, I've set myself rules. I'm not using any of the stuff from artists from my opening albums because that would have been too easy.
Well, I'm doing exactly the same rule from that previous, but I haven't even watched that previous video of mine, but it was done about a week after the original opening tracks. So I'll watch it again. I'll make a note of all the artists, and I'm not allowed to include them, and I'm not allowed to include singles. Now, most singles don't come at the end of albums. Not that the only one I can think of is "Don't Bring Me Down" from Discovery.
But yeah, it's the only one I can think of.
That's the only one I can think of offhand. "Shadow in the Wall" was a single as well from Crisis, but no singles either. So it's going to be more difficult.
Yeah, I've got a list of about 20, which I now got to whittle down even more. So I might have a few honourable mentions.
He's got himself a list. He's got a little list.
I have got a little list. Anyway, does anyone else want to come up and join the merry throngs?
Yes, so I can. Yes, please, because I want to drop off and have something to eat. I'm starving. I don't want to eat.
That's the link. Go and find that and come up and say hello. Yeah, I was watching. I was watching a video. Okay, sorry, Dave.
Sorry. I wanted to ask Naomi, how did she find the UK? Because I heard she was over. She was visiting the UK. I know she didn't get up to see you.
No, she didn't. You know, time and space and all that sort of thing. But you never know. One day, she said she might come up and come to the UK again. Anyway, I was watching a video today of it's called "What's in the Bag," and the band that were doing it were Greta Van Fleet, and they went to a record store, put bags, and they picked them out. I was shocked what albums were coming out. Joni Mitchell, John Lee Hooker. These are young lads, and all they were talking about were really old
classic stuff.
And Carole King.
Ooh,
Charles, is Richard ready for Arsenal to suffer a second Singer syndrome?
Yes, I'm ready to suffer, but not second season syndrome. I think we'll do better. We might not win it, but I think overall our performances will have improved, especially with Declan Rice.
Yeah, and you won the Community Shield.
Oh, hello.
Well, we drew it. So we did. We won on penalties. It's not the same. And it's only the Community Shield, so I'm not getting overexcited. But I think we'll do well. I think we're second favourites.
Christopher, away the lads.
Yeah. It's a funny light here tonight. It's not dark, it's not light, but you need lights on. It's horrible.
Yeah, the evenings are starting to crawl in, and it's the cloud. The cloud hides a lot of the light, and you get that reflected sunset light.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Another
weird.
one, Richard Robb said that Down at the Tube Station is a last track.
Not quite. It's a different version. The single version fades out. The LP version comes to an abrupt halt, and then you get sound effects. Same going on.
Oh, Simon. Oh, Simon. All London clubs to be relegated this season.
Oh, Harry Kane. I'm telling you now, Harry Kane will not go to Bayern Munich. He is staying put at Spurs.
Yeah. Charles White thinks Liverpool and Mbappe to clean up.
Mbappe?
Yeah.
Let's see if it's
He'll
still
be playing in the reserves for Paris Saint-Germain.
Yeah. I thought he was going to go to Saudi Arabia.
No, I don't think so. I don't know.
No. It's getting to silly season now, isn't it? All the speculation who's going where.
It is.
But the best news of the week is the United States ladies being knocked out of the Ladies World Cup.
Oh, speaking of that, Stamp Girl.
Stamp Girl?
Yes. James. Lauren James.
Oh, yeah.
Her ban has been extended to, she's got a 2-game ban after the stamp.
I know. Get up here, Rob Walker, and discuss this.
Supporting Sweden, not at the moment, Christopher. I'm still with the Lionesses.
Oh no! Did you see his previous comment? He hopes Mike Ashley buys Man City.
Oh,
ooh.
Yeah.
That's if they survive, Mike. If they're starting to go down the path of the men and rely on...
Mike's right. She'll be back for the final. Of course she will.
Yeah, that's if they survive. If they're starting to go like the men and relying on a penalty shootout, that's a dangerous game to play.
As I keep saying, you don't win World Cups playing attractive football, rugby, cricket. You do the job in pack. It's a long tournament. You just got to win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a bit hot of a horrible storm. It was a very David Beckham, wasn't it?
Mm. Oh, French footballer, come on. Man United.
Eric Cantona.
Yes. It was a Beckham, not a Cantona.
Yes. But yeah, she's young. She'll learn from it.
Proper football starts tomorrow.
Proper football starts tomorrow.
Proper rugby has already started. God, you were dreadful. You were dreadful the last match.
Yeah, well, there you go. You're not very good at all. I don't like his... David Ginola. There's a man player from the past.
England have recalled Farrell and Vunipola to face Wales.
Oh, well. Yeah, I put my fantasy football league because I do a fantasy with my mates. Last year I had Harry Kane, but I've left him out this year.
I still think he's going to stay. I really do.
Now, how do you take this one? The Dutch team are attractive. Does he mean footballers or as ladies?
I don't know about Kane. Apparently, a deal has been agreed in principle.
Yeah, with the two clubs, but not with Kane himself.
No.
So he holds all the cards. And does he really want to up sticks with his new family or his young family to go over there for a couple of years and watch his chances of getting the Premiership goal scoring record diminish? I don't think so. I think he'll stick it out with Spurs and he'll give everything for Spurs for another year, and then he'll walk away and probably go to Manchester United at the end of next year.
And if he's any sense, he'll look at what's been happening with other people, other Brits who live in the EU, and what problems they are having coming home for a visit.
Well, that could come into it as well, but I just don't think he'll go. You know, at the end of the day, if he goes over to Bayern Munich, he will win the Bundesliga. Bayern Munich always win the Bundesliga. So really, is that an achievement to win the Bundesliga? I know he wants some sort of silverware, but everyone that plays for Bayern Munich wins the Bundesliga. Or would you rather have that, or would you be known as the Premiership's all-time greatest ever scorer? For me, I would go for scorer rather than the Bundesliga. Although
because the further the record goes, the harder it's going to be to break.
Yeah, I know. You know, and you have to wait till Oldham Athletic get back in the Premiership for that to be beaten. So
that's going to take a while.
Can't see that happening.
That'll happen in 3,000 years' time.
Yeah, Cobblers didn't get off to a good start last week. We lost 1-0 at home, Stevenage. But apparently there was some of the games, one of the games, there was about 15 minutes of added time.
What?
15 minutes of overtime.
Well, that's going to happen all the time.
It's getting ridiculous, that. I think they should move to the rugby system, where whenever the whistle goes and play stops, the clock stops. And then once the referee blows his whistle, the play starts and the clock starts. And that way you cut down on the unnecessary time wasting.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Because that's one thing that always annoyed me.
There's going to be a VAR decision as well. That's going to add minutes onto the clock.
Yeah.
Every time that should not happen. That's not part of the game.
Yeah, but there's going to be, say, for example, somebody scores a goal and they look at VAR and it takes 3 minutes to decide whether it is a goal or not a goal. That's 3 more minutes added on to the end of the half or the end of the second half, whenever it happens. And then if somebody does score a goal and they run to the corner flag, and do their Elvis Presley impression after scoring their celebration, that's been added on as well.
I think that'd be right.
There's little bits left, right, and centre. It just stretches the game more and more and more.
Yeah.
How many players actually train for, playing a game that's going to be 120 minutes? By the time you added in, extra time and all the rest of it, some games are heading towards that length of time. 2 hours for a game of football? Come on.
And goal celebrations are going to be rather well done, chappies. Let's run to the centre circle and start over again.
Yes.
That's crap. That's fun as a goal celebration and winding up the other team supporters.
That's like it goes back to I remember Harry Enfield and the Mr. Chumley Warner.
That was Arsenal v Liverpool of today. That was hilarious. Did you see that one?
Oh yes, that was an absolute classic. It's probably the best Mr. Chumley Warner.
Yeah, away at the pipe.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Oh dear. Oh, how did we get onto British comedy TV?
Well, this is what this is all about. It's about music and arts and funny stuff. Yeah, does anyone else want to come up and add their 6 a penn'orth?
Yes.
Very quiet tonight. But then again, we are in the middle of a.
It is. It's,
yeah,
it's
Marius, I don't think you're going to get much fun of your lovely parody videos from here tonight. We're not dramatic enough, unfortunately. We're quite sensible over here. Jumpers for goalposts. Oh, that was the Far Show, wasn't it? Jumpers for goalposts. Ron Manager.
Jumpers for goalposts. God, that was how we used to play football in the park years ago.
Yeah, jumpers for goalposts.
Yeah.
Scoring goals isn't an issue for Arsenal.
We've strengthened our.
Yes.
Yeah, it's letting them in at the other end.
Yeah, well, now you've got two goalkeepers, two world-class goalkeepers, which is I'm not too sure about, because one of them, who's not playing, will not be happy. But this guy, is it Araya from Brentford? We signed him on loan for a year with an option to buy at the end, 3 million, and his stats were actually better than Aaron Ramsdale's last year. So he's not going to be happy sitting on the bench. So I don't know.
Would they take the option of, right, let's say the first 6 games, you each play a game, turnabout?
No, I can't see it, because I think what they want, is the team stability. They want the best team, their core team, and they'll start off with Ramsdale. But my fear is Ramsdale, if he makes a mistake with his distribution, or he makes 2 mistakes with his distribution, he's out and Raya's in. And so it's going to put an awful lot of pressure on Ramsdale to keep his place. I think Ramsdale's a great keeper, and he's a brilliant shot stopper, and he's got the best attitude, because he winds up the other team's supporters as well, which I love. But the distribution is not the best, and that's, I think, from working from the goalkeeper onwards, Raya is probably better. But yet again, Raya played for Brentford. Arsenal are a huge side compared to Brentford, with huge support. So you're talking 60,000 every home game. The pressure to get to him, I don't know, but I just think it's a mistake. So I do.
From the sounds of it, they should start with Raya.
Yeah, well, Spurs were looking for Raya, but they wouldn't pay the money for him, which is weird, because they were looking for 40 million, and then Arsenal offered 30 million, and then it got down to 3 million, with 27 million to pay at the end of next year if they want to keep him. So basically, we've got him on trial for a year, and it's cost us 3 million, which is really good business. So it is, and we've got rid of our second keeper, Matt Turner, to Nottingham Forest, who we could actually be playing against on Saturday.
Oh, oh dear.
Which I always think is a bad sign, because anytime we sell a player and their first game is against us, they beat us.
Yes. Ooh, it could be a stressful weekend. In that case, I'm gonna wind my cousin Michal up. He's an Arsenal supporter and season ticket holder. Michal Soy.
Wait, does he live in London then?
Michal? No, he's the funeral director.
Wow, how does he get across? Well, he's a funeral director. That says it all. I bet he can hop on a plane to Heathrow any time.
Yeah, he can hop over, and he goes over at least, I think it's 3 times a year, but he's had a season ticket for decades. And his brother.
For only 3 times a year? Jesus, that's costing him.
No, that's whenever he can guarantee, I'm taking a holiday, I'm taking that weekend off, I'm taking that weekend. He picks his matches that he goes to, but he has others that he can, at the drop of a hat, he can just turn up. He's got the season ticket, and in he goes.
Yeah, apparently my team just up the road, Malton, which is a village, they've started season tickets.
Oh,
yeah, and they're only charging
for what? For what? The bus stop outside.
Well, Well, they charge £7 a game, but they're only charging £50 for a season ticket.
That's 7 games.
I'm really thinking about
what benefits do you get? What benefits do you get for £50?
Not much, but the money goes to the club.
Yeah.
I'm seriously thinking about doing it because, it'll go up quite a lot. I mean, I went up last season about 12 times, and I went to their cup games, and we won a cup final, which was played on a neutral ground, which is at Silby, which is, Dave will know that. You know, a lot on the road that goes between Kings Up and Round Spinney, that football club.
Oh, you went
that's Silby, and that's where the final was. So the Malton fans didn't have far to go, and I just walked up the road.
Yeah, literally.
The thing is, where I live,
20-minute walk.
Well, where I live, if it weren't for a house, I could nip round the back, but I'd be going through someone's garden, and I don't think they'd quite like that. I can see the floodlights. When the floodlights are on, I can see them from my house. That's how close I am to it.
Yeah, you're only a 15-20-minute walk.
Yeah, it doesn't take long. The quickest way actually to get there is to go down to the Lumber Tubs and go in that way. Anyway, we're not. People go, what are these idiots talking about?
Football, local football.
Local football. We're going to support your local team this year. Don't go and spend all your money on a Premiership side. Go and support your local team.
Have you seen the cost of the replica national team shirts?
Oh, they're horribly expensive.
They're disgustingly expensive. To the point where a child's shirt, you're talking over £50. What? £50 for a kid's shirt?
You could get a season ticket for Iain's team for that.
Yeah.
Exactly. Support your local club.
Yeah, Charles, how's Coleraine FC doing?
I don't think they started yet. We were doing well a couple of years ago, and then we just fell flat on our face again. But we're still in the top tier, which doesn't mean anything really, because the football over here is crap. Not right, David?
Unless you support Linfield or the other one, Glentoran.
Crusaders, Cliftonville.
Yeah, that's it. That's the big four. Although Dungannon Swifts apparently have been doing well, and Newry have been doing well, but they don't have the same fan base and financial availability.
But the standard of football over here would be equivalent to lower end of League Two, which is the old 4th division.
Yeah. Although we do occasionally produce a brilliant player that the big teams come over and go, oh, we'll have him, and we'll have him, and we'll have him.
Yeah. And then we very, very occasionally get one of the old Premiership or old League Division 1 stars whenever they hit about 43 and they come over and play for us.
Yes, serious question here from Marius. He says, which is better to visit, Scotland or Ireland? Well, you've got 2 Irishmen on the panel, so we know where they're going to say.
It all depends on what you want. It all depends on what you want to experience. If you want mountains
I prefer Ireland to Scotland.
Mm-hmm.
Which will make my great grandmother curl in her grave. But then again, she was married to an Irishman, so
again, it's where you want to go.
Exactly.
There's plenty of places to go, North Ireland, South Ireland.
Yeah, and we have loads of history.
Yeah,
I mean, we have places over here that predate the pyramids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Richard, Rob wants to know if you're going to be here all evening, Richard.
I don't know. I really don't know. I'm not feeling 100%, but I'll stay as long as I can. So is he going to come up, or is that? No, he did this one before. So he did a smart arse answer before to that. So I'm not going to fall for it this time. Roberto.
Not that one. It's not that.
Yeah, Maris, history. There's a lot of history in both Scotland and Ireland, and fun.
Well, one thing you will find over here. Yeah, go on, Richard.
Those music-wise, if you're a Led Zeppelin fan, the cover of Houses of the Holy was taken at the Giant's Causeway, which is about 15-20 minute drive for me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's 2.5, 3 hours for me. Iain, whenever he was over the last time, took him up.
First time I've been to, it was the first time I've been to the Causeway in the sunshine.
Yes, because with the time Dad took you up, it was tipping it down.
It was absolutely where you couldn't see nothing.
Yeah, that's the thing about Irish rain. It's either a mizzle, which is really fine, gets you wet over a period of time, but it doesn't feel like rain, or else it's a driving rain you can't see 10 feet in front of your nose.
Yeah, but that trip I went with your dad, at least we went into Bushmills and I stocked up on whiskey.
We did that whenever you were over the last time as well.
I know, but I go and buy all the Bushmills that you can't get over here.
Did you do the tour of the distillery?
I don't think I've never done a tour. We've never done a tour, have we?
Oh, no. You should do the tour and watched it. And then at the end of the tour, they give you a wee whiskey in their little lounge area. That's very good.
Okay.
So
Giant's Causeway is voted the third best place to visit in the UK. Does Richard agree?
I really do not agree. One thing I do like about the Giant's Causeway is that the stones, they know the hexagon stones or whatever it is. It's about a 10-minute walk maximum from the entrance. The Giant's Causeway itself, you could be walking for hours and you're absolutely knackered. But at least what you want to do is you want to go down to see those stones. You see them, take a photograph of them, get your friend to stand on the stones, take a photograph again, and then disappear back again.
And sit in the Giant's chair.
Yep. Yes, that's it. And talk about Finn McCool and all that, carry on.
Yeah.
I tell you one of my favourite places in Northern Ireland, and that is the Ulster American Folk Park in Omagh. I think it is a wonderful place. Absolutely wonderful.
It is absolutely classic. Yeah. And the other one is, if you get the chance, HMS Belfast. Not Belfast. HMS Caroline in Belfast Docks.
I haven't seen that one.
The last surviving World War I cruiser.
All right.
I haven't been restored.
I haven't even been to the Titanic either yet.
Oh, that Iain can tell you that's worth a visit.
Oh, I loved it there.
But yeah, I've heard
the only thing is it's expensive. Well, it depends on what expectations you have. If you go in with low expectations, it's better than you think. If you go in with high expectations, it's not as good as you think. And it depends on the time of day and the day of the week as well. The Grand Staircase is only open on 2 days of the week, and that's at the weekend whenever it's busiest.
There's another one that I went to pre-COVID and post-COVID, and that's the Crumlin Road Jail. Now,
yes, that is very good, especially if you get the prisoner.
Yeah. We actually got a full tour, right? And we went into every single room and, the room of the condemned and all the rest of it. But the second time we went, it was, I think it was 2021. It was around the COVID time. And everything was remote, which you had to look off screens and all the rest. And it just wasn't the same. The first time we actually went upstairs to the officers' mess and all the rest of it, That was all blocked off second time. It was just so disappointing second time. First time was fantastic, man.
Yeah.
Yo!
And
welcome,
a
very warm
died.
welcome return.
Evening, Rob.
Good evening, Rob. How are you?
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Lovely to see you back. I think everyone in the Obscurians are happy to see you back as well.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
What's you see that thread that's knocking around at the moment? Is it five artists you've not got in your collection?
Yeah. I watched Mike's today. I was surprised. I'm surprised that he hasn't got any Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah.
I think Mike should come up and talk of the devil. He'll come and talk about that now.
There he is.
Good evening, Mike.
I'm going to say he is absolutely bonkers.
Who?
Mike.
Thanks, Rob.
Yeah.
Okay, so are you going to elaborate?
How can you not have any Beach Boys albums? You know what? It was funny because, I mean, I love Mike. He's great, isn't he? But you've got to laugh, haven't you? I mean, he's going on about all the early 60s albums, but he's not mentioning any of the classics, you know, Good Vibrations and tunes like that. Everybody must have the Beach Boys' greatest hits, surely. The one with the guy on the, surfing.
I've got that one. That was mentioned in our Greatest Hits album, wasn't it?
20 Golden Greats, #1 in 1976.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, you've got to explain yourself, Mike. What you said on the video was pretty pathetic.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Well, you know, it's true. It's true. I don't have any. I don't have any. I think it's kind of like pleasant pop music. I just, you know, I just never got around to buying any.
Yeah, but then you said you're going to buy a Leonard Cohen album. I mean,
yeah,
no one deserves to own an album by him.
Yeah. Hey, I'm glad you watched it to the end, then, Rob.
Yeah. I couldn't turn it off because I couldn't stop laughing.
Yeah, well, are you going to do one, then?
I was thinking, sort of 5 years ago, I find that really easy. I mean, I've even got Queen albums now. I didn't used to have a Fleetwood Mac album, but I picked up a load of records for £1, and Rumours was in there. So I've got Rumours. Like, I've not got any Uriah Heep. I don't think I've even heard of Uriah Heep.
I noticed that. I got this one out for you, Rob.
What is that?
That's Demons and Wizards. It's the only one I've got.
Right. Is that Uriah Heep, that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right, okay. I don't know what I missed. I don't even know what they sound like. I can imagine what they sound like, and that's why I don't want to hear them. But sell them to me.
Well, I'm not really the right person to sell it to you because I mean I don't think they're that great, but they're sort of they're kind of heavy-ish sort of prog, really.
Right. Okay.
But, yeah, you know, they're very sort of you know the stereotype about prog, you know, when it's all about sort of like wizards and fairies and stuff. Well, that's exactly what Demons and Wizards is about. Although some of their earlier stuff I think is a bit more sort of heavy. Album called Salisbury, I think was their first one. So
that's the second one.
It's more sort of heavy rock, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have they had different vocalists?
Yes, they've had David Bryan, John Solomon, Pete Golby, Bernie Shaw, and John Wetton's sung as well.
So what were they doing, trying to find a good one?
Well, David Bryan had too much of the pop. John what's his name? John Lawton. He came in, he did a couple of albums. It's the usual rock and roll music differences. But, you know, at the time in 1970, you had Black Sabbath, Deep Purple, Led Zeppelin, and Uriah Heep. And Uriah Heep were always at the bottom of the pile.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Uriah Heep. I'm a big Uriah Heep fan. They've got they're big, and they never really got big, but their latest stuff is great. They've only got one original member now, Mick Box.
Yeah.
So, but they're a good band if you like your ploddy rock, as I call it.
Yeah.
Mike, what's the premise? Are you allowed to have a CD, or is it you can't have CDs or anything?
Nick asked me that, and so I went back and looked at Steve's original video, and he said you've never owned anything by them.
I'd really struggle with that then.
So it's sort of
Would that
include quite a lot of stuff? I've got CDs, but no vinyl.
So if it was just vinyl albums, see, I'll upset Richard here now again. So I don't think that I could get through a Proclaimers album.
Yeah. You wouldn't even go 50 feet, Rob.
I'd rather have a camera stuck up my bum than listen to Proclaimers.
Let's not talk about that now. I can give you 5.
Didn't you know that's the music they play whenever you get that procedure?
Yeah. I can give you 5 off the top of my head that I don't have. No, I don't want to stick with all these rock bands because I can give you about 40.
Yeah.
What I never have had anything by a few rock bands. Blue Oyster Cult.
Yeah, I could probably have that.
Aerosmith.
Yeah.
Right, a couple of pop bands. Level 42.
Oh, they're great.
Oh, they're dreadful, Rob.
No,
and the worst of the worst, which everyone seems to love, Prefab Sprout.
Not my total favourite.
Garbage.
No.
Unfortunately, in that list, I've got all the Aerosmith.
Funny enough, I don't have any Uriah Heep either, but I have actually seen them live.
Where did you see them?
They were supporting Status Quo at the Odyssey in Belfast.
Right.
And it was okay. The lead singer, he was all bare-chested, looking up, singing to the ceiling and all the rest of it, howling to the moon and all that, carry on. But they're okay. But only caught the last couple of songs because we were late.
I'm going to do a thread on that one. I'll have to do that one. So I'm not going to
Marius has got one.
What's Marius saying?
Top 10 most embarrassing dirty pleasure albums could be fun. There's an idea for the VC influencers.
Richard could easily walk that.
No, sure, I've done 10 guilty pleasure videos.
Yeah.
So
no, they're embarrassing dirty pleasures.
Yeah.
Oh, minor embarrassing.
I could do the top 10 that anyone else would find embarrassing, but I don't.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, some of us, both of us on our videos that Richard and I have done, there's been some really guilty pleasures on there, haven't there?
But no such thing as pleasure, as they say. Well, that's crap. Or I even get embarrassed talking about some of the stuff I like.
Yeah.
So
if you want to see some of my reactions, some of the records he's come out with, I'm going to put them all together, I think. Ian's cringy Richard mentions a guilty pleasure album that he saw.
That's one of the things that, like, Richard, that's why I really love his channel. I really like Richard. I think he's somebody who's got such a love of music, but he doesn't. I think he's one of the most genuine music people in the vinyl community because he shows all sorts of music and he hasn't got an issue with showing the Nolans or the Wombles.
So do. I'm actually fascinated by the Nolan's family, the story more than the music.
Yeah.
However, their album "Making Waves" from 1980 is really good.
Yeah.
But Martin Harris is a bit like that as well. Like, he just shows stuff that's even more embarrassing than mine.
Yeah. I mean, how much money does he spend?
Oh,
ridiculous, isn't it?
Listen, not the video today, but the last video.
I know.
I was going to tot it up how much this cost, because he must have spent near £2,000.
It's crazy.
He must have. He bought every single copy of the Ballad of Darren. You know, I don't know. I know he works in retail, but where's he work?
Taylor Swift, Danny. He bought loads of copies of that.
Yes.
He brought all the Blur. He brought all Blur albums, didn't he?
Yep. Every coloured variant.
I could do an unboxing. Do you want me to do an unboxing live?
Yeah. Yeah, go for it.
So, it's an unboxing.
Oops. There you go.
What do you think it might be? Any guesses?
Sunshine on Leaf by the Proclaimers.
Who?
Sunshine on Leaf by the Proclaimers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
is that just the black vinyl?
No, it's an Amazon exclusive. It's on red. So,
has Martin got that one?
I think he has. Yeah. He's another one. I love Martin Harris. Me.
I even
he's
said that.
Absolutely mental, isn't he? So, I'm going to be showing this. I've got a theme for a video that I'm going to do, and this is sort of part of the theme. So, maybe in a couple of weeks, I'll be using this as a backdrop for the video. So, but I've got a few videos in the pipeline. I want to do that. CDs that you want to come out on vinyl. I don't have to be big all the time, do I? Do you know these CDs that you'd like to be on, vinyl?
Yeah.
I've got quite a few and I'm going to do a response. Mazzy's done one, and a guy called Todd. So I think, Richard, it's the subject you've spoke about. People have it in sort of little threads, don't they? Occasionally, questions.
That actually was one of the questions on my second contest.
Right.
3 albums.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Yeah. I've lost track. You've had that many contests, I lose track.
3, Rob. 3. All within 4 and a bit years.
Oh, Richard, I've got a record here I picked up for £8. I think you'd approve. Do you want to see it?
Go for it.
While he's doing that,
I don't trust him. Oh, yeah, very good.
Yeah.
Oops, hang on.
I have a feeling, now this is just me thinking, is that an American copy, Rob?
I don't know. It's
and
got it's got like a booklet with it.
Yes, so does the British one.
No, it's like Why do you think it's an American one?
Because I think the British one has white writing on the cover rather than black.
All right. I mean, it's on like the Arista, like Shawadi Wadi.
Yeah, for sure. People, yes. Well, have you played it yet?
Yeah. Well, I've been streaming it, but you spoke about it on a recent video and said
I've really got to like that one. I always thought it was okay, but I think it's really, really good. It's slightly more new wave. Things like Foreign Land is a really good track, and Permanent Waves.
What year is it? What year is it?
1978.
Yeah. Because I've not got that many sort of studio albums by the Kinks. So when I saw this, I didn't even register how good it was. So I think I went back on your video. You might have had it like number 14 or something. But I watched a few sort of ranking of Kinks, and people had this like 11 or 12. I quite like it.
Mm-hmm. No, it's a good one.
I got something else. Do you want me to see a little? It's not a grail, but it's something that I've always wanted. Do you want me to show you?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've got this, Richard. Have you got this?
I've got the album, but I don't have the green bag for it.
Yeah, the green bag.
Yeah. Oh,
So,
cool.
I picked this up this weekend. It's a bit of a treat. So
Yeah.
I've always
Well, the
fancied
bag,
it. Like
the bag itself is worth more than the album. The bag itself is worth a hell of a lot more than the album.
Oh yeah. Well, you've got the gift. You've got the
I've
gift,
got the gift bag, yeah. But I got that whenever on the first day of release.
Yeah.
I always kept it.
Yeah. But I think the American one, it's a lot bigger. Black Sea. I think it's a bigger sort of print. But have you seen one of these before?
Ross Goodall showed one. I've never seen it out wide. Yeah, but I think he's got the American one.
Right.
That guy that's over in America that spent a lot of money. I can't remember his name. Remember Ross went over
James.
James, somebody I.
Yeah,
I think
James,
he bought
yeah. But it's in really good condition. So
no.
Yeah, I treat myself. So is Mike still here?
Yeah, I'm still here. Yeah.
Is it worth coming over to Leeds, doing a bit of record shopping, Mike, or what?
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, it's second Saturday of the month this weekend, so that's Record Fair down at Leeds Market.
Right. Is it a good
yeah,
one?
there's a vinyl triangle.
Right.
3 record shops.
Is it
There's
Jumbo?
which is yeah. Sorry.
Jumbo Records, is it?
Yeah, the Jumbo is the one that I go to the most, and there's
right.
Yeah, and Relics is quite a good sort of used vinyl shop. Although I think his prices sometimes are a bit dodgy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's worth it's worth going. You know, I mean,
yeah.
Yeah, if you come over, let me know, and I'll.
Oh, if I come over, I won't be telling you. Don't worry about that.
Oh.
They have one in Manchester on the first Saturday of the month. So I wonder whether there's a few people maybe do that one in Leeds as well.
Yeah,
possibly. What's your budget when you go? Do you have a budget when you go?
Yeah, I normally take, you know, go to the cash point and get £100 out and try not to spend it. But
yeah,
you know, you can really get carried away at a record fair, can't you?
Yeah, it's difficult, isn't it? What about you, Richard? You don't really go to fairs that often, do you?
We don't really have them. We've got this fair that does the rounds. It does Coleraine, Port Rocheport, Stewart, and Belfast. I don't even know if it does Belfast, but it's rubbish. It's absolute crap. Nice. There's only about 4 different sellers on it, and it's the same amount of garbage every time. So
yeah.
Yeah, I think it's somebody just joined the bandwagon. They don't even come down here.
Do they not?
No.
You know the one I'm talking
about. I've heard of it. Somebody
goes to Lurgan as well, I believe.
Yeah.
So no, don't get me wrong. You get the odd decent album, but the last couple of times it's just been the same. Yeah. There was one time where obviously this guy set up a stall. It was the only time he ever did it. And he had albums like All the Best by Stiff Little Fingers and the Undertones, the very first version of it, sitting on the wall, and a lot of those things. He even had Electric Warrior, an original by T-Rex. So I bought a couple of those, but the condition of them wasn't that great for the price they were charging. So
you You don't see that that double stiff little fingers best of. You don't see that very often.
No, I remember it in the shops as well, and I never picked it up because I had all the albums.
Yeah.
And I didn't actually realize that some of the single versions were different. So your single version of Suspect Device and Gotta Get Away are completely different album versions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was talking to a guy who's got a record shop in Northampton. He wrote a book about the music scene in Northampton. He sort of knows my dad. And he was saying about people bring stuff into him and they want the earth, and you look at the quality of them. I said, I don't think people sometimes realise that you can't. Okay, they're old and they're originals, but that it's to do with the condition. Someone brought in an original Please Me, the first Beatles album. He said he wanted 200 quid for it. He says, but when I put it on, he said all I could hear was frying bacon, and the cover looked like a dog had sat on it for 20 years. And he says, when I said I can give you 50 quid, he walked off.
Yeah.
You know, he can't. I don't think people. He said, I don't think people realise just because you've got an original Beatles album, you can't expect to pay. Get 200 quid for it. He says, he said to him, I said, if I was to sell it for 200 quid, I'd have to. You know, I've got to make money as well. And he says, people just don't understand. He said, it's getting very like that. He said, you get these kids coming when they're obviously their parents pass away and they want as much money as they want for their parents' albums.
No. It don't work like that anyway.
No,
except in Oxfam shops where condition doesn't seem to play a part when they price their records up.
Yeah, I don't bother with like that really.
Oh, you do pick up a few good ones.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one good one that you would pick up in Oxfam, Mike, and it'll be very, very cheap. It's called 20 Golden Greats by the Beach Boys.
Yeah. You get that for about £3.
Yeah. I'm beginning to regret this video.
Yeah, but what about explaining that you haven't got any prints? That was a bit of a random one.
Well, it's just I don't have any. You know, I just didn't buy any at the time.
Yeah, but when you come up on here, you've got to explain yourself.
Well, oh, right, okay.
I haven't got any Prince albums, Mike, so don't worry.
Yeah. It just doesn't, you know, I don't like him sufficiently to sort of want to go and buy his back catalogue, you know, so there you go.
It is funny though, isn't it, how you get certain artists, that really popular artists, that for whatever reason you sort of have a little bit of a block on. I thought you were going to show the Beatles at one point.
Yeah, I'd have to lie about that one.
Your channel's never going to blow up like Andy Ford's when you start criticising Bruce Springsteen.
I didn't criticise Bruce Springsteen.
Well, you said
I just said it was mainstream rock and roll, and I don't see that. See what other people say.
From where I was sitting, you certainly weren't praising him.
Well, no.
I haven't got all of them.
He's a funny one. He's a funny one, though, Bruce Springsteen, isn't he? You know, I mean, is it Mike the Vinyl Policeman? I think he went to see him in New York, and then he came home, and then he flew back to New York to go and see him again.
Well, didn't he go to Munich the other day?
I think if he were playing in my back garden, I'd pull the curtains too.
I'll tell you the Bruce Springsteen I don't like is when it's just him and his guitar and that whiny harmonica. Oh,
I actually like the harmonica from him. I think some of my favorite songs harmonica.
Yeah, you Count Bob Dylan, yeah.
Yeah. There's a track called Tougher Than the Rest, which I think is brilliant.
I like that. But
I have a fantastic harmonica piece of that at the end.
Yeah.
But in saying that, Bruce Springsteen's a sort of his albums. I always like 2 or 3 songs off each album, and the rest and forget about.
Yeah. I think the problem that I had with him, or the reason that I never really got into him, is because I wasn't really that aware of him until sort of late 70s, early 80s, and by that time I just moved on.
Yeah.
I was listening to other stuff.
I knew Bruce Springsteen, and I think I've heard Born to Run, but I think like Frankie Goes to Hollywood's version was the one I became more familiar with. But I think like The River, like Hungry Heart, that had a little bit of success, didn't it?
Yeah.
But he'd already done about 5 albums by then, and he was pretty innocuous sort of in the charts in the UK, wasn't he?
Yeah.
We have far better music to be listening to than listening to Bruce Springsteen, to be fair. I mean, I can understand people in America getting excited, but they get excited about next to nothing over there.
Yeah, I mean, but Matt's right. Born to Run's a good album. Born in the USA, I mean, that was the big one over here. But I hate Dancing in the Dark. I think it's absolutely a pile of junk. It's awful. Cheesy. See, I like songs like Cover Me. I mean, I like My Hometown. That's a good song. Because that's a song that's about everybody's hometown. And I like Born in the USA. But it's just it's more of a greatest hits album, although it's not a greatest hits. I hate that when an album has just every song on it comes out as a single. Brothers in Arms is another example of that.
Yeah. Well,
I suppose also with Bruce Springsteen, his first couple of hits were as writing credits. If you think about it, because Blinded by the Light was quite a big hit, wasn't it, for Man for Man?
Yeah.
And then you had Best doing Because the Night.
Yeah.
And also Fire by the Pointer Sisters. Is that correct? That was a Bruce Springsteen song, Fire.
Right. I don't know.
The Pointer Sisters.
I know that.
Yeah, it could be.
I'm not quite sure. And I've got some of the earlier stuff, but no, I mean, some of it's okay. Some of it I don't like. I mean, that album he did of the American folk songs.
Well, I think the Seeger ones.
Yeah.
Bruce Springsteen, it didn't quite fit in the UK, did it? When you think about sort of towards the late 70s, all the music that was coming out here, he didn't quite fit, did he? And then New Romantic and post-punk, and our charts were so many great sort of singles in our charts, and his singles weren't sort of that strong until, I suppose, Born in the USA. When was that? Was that about 84? That
84, yeah.
84, 85, something like that.
Yeah. I mean, I quite like Tunnel of Love, that album. I think that's quite a nice album. Is that about 86?
That was the one after Born in the USA.
Yeah. When did Nebraska come out?
82.
82, yeah.
So is that the one in between
the river?
Yeah. Because a lot of people like Nebraska, but I've never heard that.
Nebraska, it's acoustic. Basically, they're all demo songs that he was supposed to have done with the E Street Band, but for some reason they put it out as that. And it's some nice songs on it, but I wouldn't say it's the best album he ever put out. Yeah, Bruce Springsteen, I like him, but I'm not. I'm not.
Maybe greatest hits is the way to go, isn't it? With Springsteen.
Yeah, he's very prolific, though, isn't he? I suppose, how many albums has he done?
24, 25.
Yeah.
I did like his last one, though. That was pretty good.
Well, that covers album.
Yeah. Believe it or not, it's a great covers album. I'm not a fan of covers albums, as you know, but that one, it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
Great tunes. Yeah, Patrick's right. Catalog Ranch is a good song.
21
I did
studio.
a version of that as well.
David Bowie actually covered two Bruce Springsteen songs, but he covered them at the time of release of his first album. So in 1973, he actually covered Growing Up and It's Hard to Be a Saint in the City around the 73, 74 mark. And they're pretty good, but they were never released. They were outtakes and have only come out since in the late 80s. But he saw that Bruce Springsteen was one heck of a songwriter and covered two of the songs. Now, this is Bowie in his 50 days too, so you think of Bruce Springsteen as jeans and dirt and greasy hair and banging away at the guitar, and Bowie looking like a princess. But he actually covered those two songs from his debut album.
Right.
Pretty good.
So what have you been listening to this week, Mike? Anything, not the Beach Boys, obviously, but...
No, I picked up a sort of a really clean copy of Slade Alive, actually. So I've been...
good.
I've been listening to that. I mean, I think it's an absolutely brilliant live album. Because, you know, it's very different to the... To the singles that they were released at the time, isn't it?
Did you notice the burp in Darling, I'll Be Home Soon? If you play that track, Noddy actually belches in the middle of it. And once you hear it, you can't unhear it. And they never took it out. So you will hear him burping.
I actually asked when I met Noddy.
Yeah, I'm going to go back and listen to that then, yeah.
When I met Noddy, I said, what happened there? He said, well, I went to see, I burped instead.
Yeah.
He said, apparently, when they were doing the mix of it, someone in the record company, apparently, wanted it taken out. And the band went, no, this is a warts and all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's all the better for it, though, isn't it?
Oh, God, yes.
The funny thing about that album, and I mentioned this in a video ages ago, and I think only ever got two answers. Slade's first hit album, the first album ever to chart, was a live album, which very rarely happens. Now, I think Peter Frampton's first was live, Frampton Comes Alive, and I believe that Kiss's first was Kiss Alive, but I can't think of any other album or any other artist that had their first hit album. Not necessarily their first album, but their first hit album to be a live album, apart from Slade.
Right.
When did that Sting album come out, Richard? Did that come out after the Blue Turtles album? He did a Bring On the Night, didn't he? A live album.
That came out after Blue Turtles and before.
Pretty close, though, wasn't it?
It wasn't far away, no.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of Sting solo stuff. I have tried, but I'm not a fan. I like the old single, and that's about it.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard that Bring On the Night, there's quite a lot of, obviously with the title track, there's quite a lot of sort of, not a lot, but there's quite a few Police covers on there. I believe I've always been tempted to pick it up, but I never have done.
You see, I'm scared of hearing that song because I love that song.
Yeah,
I know. If he turns it into a jazz number, it for me.
Yeah, I think it all sounds a bit pretentious, doesn't it?
It's just too jazzy for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't. I'm like you. I can't get into Sting's solo stuff. I've got a great.
I don't want to be too critical of him, because, to be honest, I've not really given him a chance. You just play it once or twice. You've got to spend a bit of time, but you've got to want to spend a little bit of time. I don't want to be too dismissive of him. I think it's quite sort of in vogue in it, sort of attack Prince, but attack Sting, but, when he was the front man of like one of my favourite bands, so I always have a bit of a defence mechanism towards him.
I think the problem with Sting as well was whenever he went solo, the first album, everyone gave him a chance. The second album, probably much better, although I haven't heard it. but he was going on about saving the trees, save the Amazon, save that, and he became a bit of a dick, really, in a lot of people's eyes. Okay, the what he was doing, fine, yes, but a lot of people thought he was very pretentious and sort of one of these elites, and I think that's what killed him for a lot of people.
That is it called 10 Summers Long? That was pretty successful. There was quite a lot of hits on that.
10 Summer Tales. That was 1993.
Yeah,
I think.
I like that album.
Yeah. I know there's some really good songs off that. A hell of a lot of singles off that.
Yeah.
And I actually liked the one before it, which I bought actually on vinyl when it came out. I bought it around the same time as Queen's Innuendo. And that's called The Soul Cages. There was 2 really good singles off this all this time, and even better, Mad About You, which I thought was brilliant. And the album itself is not too bad. There are a couple of decent songs off it, but it's not in the same bracket as the 3 weird titled Police albums, which are untouchable.
Another artist like that was. I mean, I know you like these, Rob, but I don't like Style Council. I just can't get into them. As much as I love the Jam, I just can't get into that album. I've tried.
Yeah. I wouldn't expect you to like the Style Council. I mean, you like Marillion.
What's that got to do with the fish?
Oh, that's a baseball back to the back of the head out of left field.
Question for Rob. Right, Rob. If you had to pick your 4 favourite Paul Weller solo albums and put them up against the 4 Style Council albums, which would you prefer? The 4 Style Council or your 4 favourite Paul Weller solo?
Paul Weller solo, I think.
Would you?
Yeah, so I like Paul Weller solo stuff, but I just don't like. I can't like everything.
I always find Paul Weller solo stuff very samey. So I do.
I think the best Paul Weller album is Live Wood.
I have that on CD.
That is unbelievable.
I have that on CD.
Yeah. Was it recorded at Wolverhampton? I think it was, weren't it?
I'm not really sure what it was.
Between
Wildwood and Stanley Road.
Wildwood, Stanley Road. I love the debut. They'd be my 4, those 4. And they're his first 4, so that tells you everything, doesn't it? You know, he's done some good stuff, but he's definitely dropped off big time. I don't know, what's your view on Paul Weller, Mike? You're keeping very quiet there.
Yeah, I mean, I think with the whole sort of evolution of Paul Weller. I mean, I think the first thing is that I think a lot of people thought that Style Council were a bit of a betrayal of the Jam, really.
Yeah.
You know, so they got off to a poor start. You know, the people weren't prepared to give them that love, but. I never managed to get into them, but I think Stanley Road is a great album.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I think he got back to doing what he's best at. And the Style Council, I thought, was a bit. It all seemed a bit forced to me. You know, it's not.
I think
that wasn't really him.
I think the Style Council got off to the best start ever with that single "Speak Like a Child," because it wasn't too far away from 1982 Jam material. So it wasn't. It's the second single, "Money Go Round," that alienated a lot of people. Yeah. And then by the time that the Cafe Blue album came out, now granted, we had the single of what do you call it, "My Ever Changing Moods" before the album came out, and everyone was looking forward to this. But whenever they played it, they thought, "What the hell is this?" And even the version of "My Ever Changing Moods" is completely different. Yeah. There's a piano version, you think, oh, bloody hell.
I know.
And I ended up liking about 3 songs on side 2 of that for a while. But I do like the album, right? It has grown on me, but it's taken 40 years.
Yeah.
But then you got the contrast of artists like that. I mean, it's funny, I never liked the Smiths growing up, but I love the Smiths now. And I hadn't heard much of Morris's solo stuff, but I love Morris's solo album. So I'm so looking forward to this new album whenever it's coming out.
Record companies do not want to touch Morrissey. That's the problem because of his political views. They just don't want to have it.
He probably won't have a bank account now, will he? Where's he going to hide all his millions under his mattress?
Yeah. But I mean, I think you've got to, with sort of artists, if every artist who you thought sort of like, as a person was a bit of a dickhead, you wouldn't listen to anything. I think you've got to separate that. You've got to say this is the music, this is what they're doing as an artist.
Yeah.
And you either like it or you don't like it. But when you start, you start bringing in all the other stuff, then
I use the same premise. I use the same premise when I'm watching VC videos, Mike.
All right, I'll take that as a compliment. I'm sure it wasn't.
No, it's funny with the Smiths though, because Richard will say they were so popular and so brilliant. Mike, I don't know what your Smiths sort of issues are, whether you were a big fan, but the longevity of the Smiths has surprised me a little bit. I mean, my son is a massive Smiths fan, and he was a massive Smiths fan from being about 14, 15, and he was such a fan. And they seem to be one of those bands that they don't reinvent themselves, but they have fans and then new fans coming along all the time. And it's really refreshing. I mean, you get these people who say the songs are boring and, they're not listening to the lyrics, are they?
No, exactly.
I think Patrick, the vinyl archivist, if he's here, I think he had a bit of a blind spot for the Smiths, but I think even Patrick now is enjoying quite a lot of the Smiths stuff.
Yeah, I think as well with the Smiths, whenever I'm a first generation fan like yourself, Rob, but the Smiths music at that time, it got into your blood.
Yeah.
It really got into your blood. You lived and breathed that band. And even whenever a new single was coming out, whether you heard that or not, you were straight down there to get that single and hope and pray that the B-side was not on the album as well. Yeah. So you'd have to do new songs. I completely lived and breathed the Smiths.
Yeah. But I mean, my view of the Smiths is that, when they appeared on the scene, they were just sort of different. They were groundbreaking, weren't they? Mm. And like you say, Rob, the lyrics are absolutely brilliant. Yeah. You could read it, couldn't you? As they're little stories.
Yeah.
They're funny.
It's absolutely brilliant, and the music is brilliant. So what's not to like, really?
Yeah. I mean, when they come out, I was listening to just pure metal.
Yeah.
I think as I've got older, you sort of listen to other things. I got into the Smiths probably in about 2005. And I was it was on the radio, and I was listening. I can't remember what song it was. And I thought, these lyrics are great. I need to listen to more of this. Yeah. So I went and got a Greatest Hits album, and I loved it. And I played it all the time. And now, I mean, I read on the Spotify. I read the lyrics sometimes. Yeah. He was a genius, Morrissey. Yeah. Them lyrics, and you think about them when they were written. I was a teenager, and everything. Yeah, I can relate to that. I can relate to that. I can relate to that, and I relate to that. Why I didn't when I was in that age, I don't know.
Yeah. I think it's because of what you're listening to, Iain. That it probably wasn't on your radar. Whereas, for me, I was listening to sort of nighttime Radio 1. People like obviously John Peel and Kid Jensen was on before him, wasn't he? And then you got people like Kershaw. So the Smiths were sort of, it was natural for them to sort of play the Smiths as a sort of, you know, a new and up and coming band. So, you know, they just sort of appeared, and they were part of the, you know, part of that progression, you know, through sort of punk and new wave, and you know.
The thing about the Smiths, the one thing that got me hooked to the Smiths, the very first thing was the guitar intro to This Charming Man. I'd never heard anything like that before. That's still probably the best intro to any song ever.
I heard that today, as a matter of fact.
It's absolutely brilliant.
So I just want to defend myself on my Smiths thing, because when the Smiths came out, I was living in West Texas in the middle of nowhere, where you had to drive 150 miles to a record store, and the only radio station would literally play war songs from World War II. So I didn't even know who the Smiths were probably until, I don't know, 10 years ago. I had no idea who they were, never heard them or anything. And so somebody sent me This Charming Man and asked me as the 12-inch singles. And as you said, when I first heard the guitar intro to This Charming Man, I thought it was just brilliant. I loved it from the moment. Then when I saw a live video of them, I think in Germany, an actual live video very early on of them doing that song, and I thought it was amazing. And so, and then Ask Me, when I started listening to the lyrics of Ask Me, I started realizing what a brilliant song it is, you know, just how he's describing, you know, these things that stop you from enjoying life, basically, you know, and wanting this person to get out of their comfort zone, you know, so, and I now have been, people have sent me, you know, all the Smith stuff, and I have pretty much all of it and all the Morrissey stuff. And I really do enjoy it a lot. But I just never heard of them, literally, you know, and so if you give me like a minute, I'd like to play a game. Someone sent me a bunch of 45s from the UK, and I want to get an opinion. Y'all can play, but I want to hear Rob say poop or not, or shit or not, for just a second. So this one is original Gary Two-Way Army, Our Friends Electric.
Oh, thumbs up, Patrick. That's a thumbs up from me.
Casino Soul by The Fall.
Oh yeah, good one.
Oh, that's brilliant.
That's a good song.
I think this one's going to get a thumbs up. So.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Good track.
This one is I don't know who Althea and Danya are. I think they're.
Oh yeah, top ranking.
Yeah, top ranking.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Oh yes.
Yes, definitely.
I think this is a Joy Division.
Is that Transmission?
I think it's called Novelty.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So this is a Mott the Hoople. This is a live version of All the Young Dudes.
All right.
How about this
one?
one?
Yeah.
Yes, good song.
How about this one?
My Girl,
Yeah.
So I'll just do a couple more of it. I have like 100 of these things. So there's
great song. Kraftwerk, the Mott.
So I mean, this guy, he's in Scotland. Sent me all these psychedelic furs.
Oh, nice.
So a lot of this stuff I was not aware of. I mean the Kraftwerk, of course, I was aware of, but you know, like, so this was great. I like New Order.
Shell Shock, that's a good one.
That's enough for now. I just wanted to kind of, you know, play that, see if this stuff was where because you guys talk about singles all the time that I've never even heard of. So it fascinates me.
Yeah, I mean this is stuff we grew up with, you know.
I know, and it never played where I was at, so it's new to me.
No.
Yeah, I mean, it's lovely to have you here, Patrick. It's lovely to have you up on the thing. Like me, you've listened to all your life, listened to a lot of rock stuff, and then like, you know, it's great to find someone else like discovering the Smiths. It's a bit different over here. They were great. I found them boring. Yeah,
but I mean, it's new music to me. It's great. You know, for me, it's like brand new stuff. And like the Buzzcocks, I saw the name and I'm like, going, I don't care. I listened to like the first album someone sent me, and it was phenomenal. I was like, oh, this is a great record. I was like, going, I don't know what it's called, but I remember going, every single song was great. So anyway, I just wanted to pop up and be seen with all you amazing Brits here or people from the United Kingdom. So I want to, you know, frame it and say, oh, look, I've been on here. I don't want to. I know you can get like Ricefield Records, whoever else up here. I just wanted to say hello.
Oh, you're always welcome, and I will definitely try and get on one of yours. I'll have to send me along.
Yeah, cheers, Patrick.
That was great to see Patrick up, all the way from America. He's a really nice guy. He loves his rock music as much as I do. So yeah.
I'm thinking now. Maybe I should have an intensive Springsteen Fleetwood Mac session.
Yeah, see, Fleetwood Mac again. They're a band. They're not all their albums are brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't got all Fleetwood Mac's albums.
No.
There's different phases of Fleetwood Mac. If you like the blues, you like 60s material. If you like California rock, you like the early 70s. And if you like California pop, you like Rumors and Beyond.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, some of the Bruce Welch albums I'm not too keen on. It's one or two tracks.
Yeah. I mean, I think the issue that I have with them is that probably the first albums I really sort of heard of theirs would be sort of like Rumours and Tusk, and didn't really do it for me.
Tusk doesn't do it for me. It's a.
But maybe that early stuff. I mean, Chris from Record Talk, and I know he's lurking in the background there. That he was talking about you've got the pre-Peter Green and the post-Peter Green.
Yeah.
And then I'm this odd person that doesn't like any of it, apparently.
Yeah. If you start quoting Chris from Record Talk, you've got a big problem, Mike. Do not listen to anything he said.
I think he's a lovely man. He's a lovely guy.
Yeah. Right, I'm going to love you and leave you now. So it's been good to be back. See you later, guys.
Yeah,
nice to see you, Rob.
Easy, Rob.
Yeah.
See you later.
See you soon.
Well, there we go. Rob Walker back in the fold. It's lovely to have him back.
Yeah. Maybe we get a comp album quiz next time.
Yeah, back to. Yeah, it's lovely to see him. So, was the only? Well, I don't know what's happened to Nick tonight, unless he's driving his lorry somewhere.
I mean, he said, didn't he, that he was a bit busy, and he redecorating his house at the moment.
His man room.
I don't know. Richard, did you see a post that I put up about a record fair in Enniskillen at the end of the month?
No.
Okay.
No.
I'll pop it up again.
Enniskillen's a bit of a drive.
Yeah. Monday the 28th, 11 till 4.
All right.
Well, that weekend, bank holiday weekend, I'm going to a status quo mini convention in Earthlingborough. By two people
in Earthlingborough?
Well, I think it's Earthlingborough or Rushden or one of them. And they've got 3 tribute status quo acts on. They organise a convention at Minehead in Butlins, and they're local, so they're doing one.
All right. They're having a practice run.
They're charging us a tenner for the day.
That's not bad.
Oh, wow.
So I will do a little thing about the day, of course, for those Quo fans.
Before you chop everything off, let me just do something here. Oh, the numbers have changed. It's 6-4 to Epica in the live poll.
Well, everyone goes against me. I save my albums. I'm sure people do it on purpose just to get one.
Yeah. I voted for Epica, Ian, but only because I actually know that album. I don't know the other one.
Yeah, they're both good albums, though. Two great singers. You don't know what we're talking about, do you, Richard?
Yeah. But basically, Richard, it's kind of heavy sort of symphonic rock sort of rhythms with sort of very nice female vocals and grunting.
Nolans, then it is like the Nolans.
Yes, and Mark Jansen's grunts.
Yeah.
But they're quite audible. You can actually hear what he's saying.
Right.
Which makes a change.
Guilty pleasures. Who's your biggest guilty pleasure? Each of you.
My biggest guilty pleasure.
I would say the Nolans for me is probably my biggest guilty pleasure. Or the guiltiest pleasure, put it that way. Because I do not forget about the Wombles. Don't you dare laugh at that, mate. I'm serious.
No, I mean, I think Wombles. I mean, they were great musicians. You know,
Right.
was it Madame Chalet? She was the sax player.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant.
I wonder if it was Mel Collins, because Mel Collins plays sax on everything, doesn't he?
Chris Spedding.
Hey, you tried to suggest that the Wombles aren't real, Ian?
That's dangerous territory.
That's dangerous.
Yeah.
Dangerous territory. For example, you know the Forbes rich list. Somebody was taken off the Forbes. They do two rich lists. One is proper people, you know, the Getty, John Paul Getty's and all this sort. And then there's fictional characters. And the top of the fictional character list was Smaug, the dragon. And they reckon he was sitting on a fortune of 62 billion. But they removed a character from the fictional list. Do you know who they removed?
Orinoco.
No. Santa Claus. Because Santa Claus is real.
God.
Well, right.
This is it. I love that they pandered to the children. I thought that was brilliant.
Yeah.
I'll tell you who my guilty pleasure is. David Cassidy.
Right. Okay. Fair enough.
I love his music and the Partridge Family.
Yeah.
A lot of Americans are like that as well. Like all these American channels show British Family albums.
Oh, I don't mind.
Come on, like
David Cassidy's singles.
I'd have to say
Come on,
Stevie
Mike.
Nicks for me.
I think you're a Smurfs fan. I think you are.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, yeah. I mean, talking of Dutch music, yeah, they're in the Apex, aren't they?
I mean, from Smurfland where we belong.
Hey,
another of my guilty pleasures is the Barron Knights. I love the Barron Knights.
Oh, yes.
yeah.
I've
Club
seen them.
Sound. They were going for as long as Club Sound. You remember Club Sound, Dave?
Oh, God. Oh,
They were the Northern Ireland version of the Barron.
they were brilliant. They were absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, I've seen the Barron Knights a few times, and the last time I saw them was a couple of years ago, just before COVID. Guy I worked with, he'd got tickets to go and see him in Milton Keynes, and he said to me, he says, "I've double booked. My other half's planned something, and I can't go. Do you want to go instead?" I went, "Yeah." I said, "How much?" He went, "Yeah, just have them." So, and that was a brilliant night out, and he'd got seats near the front, which I was dreading because you know what the Barron Knights are like, you know. But they were brilliant.
Yeah.
Was that in the theatre or?
It was in the stables.
Oh, all right. That's good.
It was a great show, and they did all the hits way back to Cool Up the Groups and A Taste of Adbro, and they did some great rock and roll as well, just ordinary rock and roll numbers. Thoroughly a good night out.
Yeah. Well, you can only pull that sort of thing off if you're actually decent musicians, can't you?
Yeah.
You know, but I couldn't say they're a guilty pleasure of mine because I sort of grew up with them because they used to be on telly a lot, didn't they? Do you remember sort of Saturday evening variety program? They were on a lot, weren't they? And I always used to love them when I was a kid.
Well, then the Wurzels, ever.
Oh, the Wurzels, yeah. Yeah.
The Spinners. No, the Wurzels.
The Spinners. I like the Spinners. They give blood, didn't they?
Yeah.
Did they do the ad for giving blood?
Yes. Yes, they did. Crikey, that's well remembered.
Matt Batson's come up with Jive Bunny.
Oh, yeah.
I like Stevie's Steel Ice Band.
Yeah. Oh, the other one.
I wouldn't put them as guilty pleasure. I think they're brilliant musicians. Steel Ice Band, old English folk, really, really good.
They supported status.
Yeah, I mean, I've got absolutely loads of Steel Ice Band.
So have I.
You know,
in fact, we got one.
I mean, over the years,
it's in the laundry list being worked on at the moment. Lindisfarne.
Gaza.
Yeah, Frog on the Tyne, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
I mean, the other band I like is Stars on 45. They were great.
They were Dutch as well, I believe.
They were Dutch. I got the cassette, and it had obviously all the Beatles songs, the full, not just the single. ABBA songs, which is brilliant. Stevie Wonder songs. Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Anyway, our 2 hours. We've been talking for 2 hours.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
Well,
doesn't time fly?
I know. Tonight we've had the return of Rob Walker, and we've had a special guest all the way from America, Patrick. But mostly we've got the two Northern Ireland.
Yep, we took over tonight.
They took over tonight. It's always a pleasure having my good friend Richard up and a regular Mr. Mike.
Oh,
Spiral.
I like what Record Hound found. Canadian copy of the Wurzels on the Attic label.
By the way, Mike, you were very unlucky in the draw for that.
Oh, I know.
Oh man,
I have the fingers crossed there. What was I? Second or third out, wasn't I?
You were second out, so you were bang in the middle of the fourth.
Yeah.
At least you got a mention.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, it would have been worse. It would have been worse if I'd been first out.
Yeah.
Because I said, what did you just draw on? But, I wouldn't have won anyway. It was a great contest. I must say, Richard, I would love to have that many subs to lose.
Good night, Pulsar, and good night, Matt.
Yeah. The thing, before we just go, if I'd have won it, it'd look like it'd been a fix, though, really. And on that note, I'm going to say goodnight. So thank you very much, Mike and Richard. And of course, the man that does everything behind the scenes, Dave.
Thank you.
And we'll see you all next week for another episode of Madhouse.
Okay, right.
Okay.
Take it easy. Good night, Mike. Good night, Richard.
Obscurians.
Good night, everybody else in the panel. Oh, yeah. Hello.